You wanted the list of cars worth buying in 2025, right? Well, I dug into the data, and what I found will shock you. Out of hundreds of new models, only 7 survived after filtering through warranty records, mechanical failure rates, repair costs, and real-world durability. And here's the slap in the face for Europe. Not a single one is European. The birthplace of the automobile couldn't pass the most basic reliability test. For all of 2025, I can only recommend 7 new cars. Not 7 per segment, 7 total. From hundreds of available models, only 7 met the criteria of being truly dependable, fairly priced, and realistically repairable after the warranty ends. I started with more than 200 new cars. And then the real purge began. Anything with an engine that behaves like a time bomb, subscription-locked features, electronics that can't be repaired outside the dealership, or components engineered to die on schedule. I wiped them out immediately. After that brutal first cut, only 31 models were left standing. Once I pushed them through real-world durability tests and actual repair cost data, the list collapsed to 14. And when I checked something most buyers never think about, parts availability and independent repairability, only 7 vehicles survived. And let me be clear, even these 7 aren't perfect. The era of perfect cars died more than a decade ago. But these are the last true survivors. Cars that won't drain your bank account, won't spy on you, and won't fall apart the moment they hit 100,000 kilometers, unlike so many modern models. So if you're getting ready to spend your money on a 2025 car, or trying to pull someone back from a disastrous $30,000 decision, don't look away. What you're about to see might be the only thing standing between you and a mistake worth an entire year's salary. Kicking off this list at number 7 is the Mazda CX-30, but only the naturally aspirated 2.0 Skyactiv G, not the turbo, not the diesel, not the mild hybrid. Just the simplest version, the one most people complain is too slow. Yet, ironically, it's the only configuration that truly deserves your money. And here's why. Mazda kept it clean. No turbo waiting to implode at 80,000 kilometers. No cylinder deactivation gimmicks to chew up the engine. No fragile mild hybrid components to bankrupt you later. Just a solid, old-school, over-engineered 2.0. The kind mechanics say reminds them of 90s Toyota reliability. The data backs it up. Reliability reports show this engine has over 70% fewer issues than the class average. It uses a timing chain instead of a belt, port injection so there's no carbon buildup nightmare, and a traditional automatic transmission. None of the CVT or DSG headaches that ruin people's lives. Owners in Japan running these past 100,000 kilometers report basically 0 major failures. No oil burning, no chain stretch, no transmission drama. It's almost boringly reliable, which is exactly what you want. Inside, Mazda dodged the touchscreen disaster everyone else fell into. Real knobs for climate, real buttons for audio, and a rotary controller you can use without looking down. Mazda remembered a simple truth. Buttons work, screens distract. Yes, the $28,000 price stings. But with rock-solid reliability, a 7-year warranty in many regions, and 68% resale after 3 years, compared to just 45% for a VW T-Cross, it becomes the cheapest car here in the long run. As one Munich mechanic told me, the 2.0 CX-30 is the car I recommend to my own family. It won't thrill you, but it will never betray you. Coming in at number 6 is a car most people walk right past, the Toyota Corolla hybrid sedan. Not the touring version, not the GR Sport, just the plain hybrid sedan that reviewers love to call boring. Ironically, that boring car happens to be the single most reliable new vehicle you can buy in Europe today. Toyota's hybrid tech has been refined for over 25 years, and at this point, it's practically unbreakable. The electric motors don't use brushes that wear out, the eCVT doesn't have clutches that burn up, and the 1.8-litre engine runs the stress-free Atkinson cycle. Everything in this powertrain is designed to last, not impress a spec sheet. And the numbers prove it. Consumer Reports shows the Corolla Hybrid has the lowest problem rate of any car sold in the US. 3 issues per 100 cars. Compare that to the Mercedes C-Class with 67. That's not a typo. 95% fewer problems. This 1.8 hybrid avoids every modern money pit. No turbo, no direct injection, no stop-start system, no dual-clutch gearbox, no diesel emissions traps. It's Toyota's quiet rebellion against all the tech that breaks. And there's a reason we insist on the sedan. It's lighter, simpler, and puts less strain on every component. The touring model adds 100 kilograms, which means more wear and worse fuel economy. The GR Sport tweaks the suspension and adds complexity you don't need. The sedan stays pure. Real-world drivers are proving it every day. One taxi driver in Hamburg has over 300,000 kilometer keys on his 2019 Corolla Hybrid, with nothing more than oil changes and tires. It just doesn't quit. Add Toyota's 10-year hybrid battery warranty, and even the biggest fear around hybrids disappears. And even if the battery ever fails, replacement is roughly $1,800, cheaper than a single DSG repair. At number 5, we have a car that almost nobody talks about, the Honda Civic, but only in its most humble form, the base 1.5 VTEC with a manual gearbox. Forget the Type R, forget the CVT, forget the hybrid. The stripped-down version that journalists overlook is the one buyers should be fighting for. And the reason is simple. The manual transmission transforms the Civic into something both reliable and genuinely enjoyable. Honda's CVT is dependable, yes, but it's dull and brutally expensive if something goes wrong. A manual clutch replacement costs around $300. A CVT failure? Try $3,000. And the manual model is already $2,000 cheaper from the start. The 1.5-litre VTEC Turbo had oil dilution issues years ago, but Honda addressed them in 2020 with updated software and revised hardware. Post-2020 models show no significant red flags in TIV reports. The turbo setup itself is straightforward: single scroll, conventional wastegate, no over-engineered gimmicks. Inside is where the Civic quietly destroys its rivals. Real knobs for climate control, actual buttons for key functions, nothing buried deep in touch menus. Honda designed this car for people who want a car that works, not a rolling tablet. Space is another win. Adults fit comfortably in the back seats, and the 478-litre boot beats cars costing twice as much. Visibility is excellent. Build quality is pure Honda, and the materials are honest, durable, and age gracefully. No fake carbon fibre, no glossy piano black plastics begging to scratch. The naturally aspirated 1.5 once offered even better reliability, but emissions laws ended its run. Today's 1.5 turbo is Honda's compromise. Only the complexity that's truly necessary, nothing more. As one mechanic in Amsterdam put it, Civics don't return to the workshop unless it's for maintenance. They're almost boring for us. Sliding into number 4 is a car most people never see coming. The Suzuki Swift base model, priced around $18,000. It's the cheapest vehicle on this entire list, yet ironically one of the most dependable machines you can buy in 2025. This is what honest transportation looks like when the rest of the industry has abandoned simplicity. Under the hood is Suzuki's 1.2 dual-jet engine, naturally aspirated, port-injected, and blissfully free of every modern complication. No turbo waiting to grenade, no direct injection carbon nightmares, no cylinder deactivation nonsense. It only makes 83 horsepower, and on paper that sounds embarrassing. Until you realize the Swift weighs just 940 kilograms. It's light, responsive, and returns an impressive 4.5 L100 kilometers without a hybrid system adding weight, cost, or repair bills. Suzuki's entire philosophy is beautifully straightforward. Keep it light, keep it simple, keep it cheap to fix. You can rebuild the front suspension for $400. A clutch costs $500. The engine is so understressed it'll comfortably hit 300,000 kilometer with routine maintenance. And the interior? Hard plastics everywhere. On purpose. Nothing to peel, scratch, or age badly. It'll look the same in 2035 as it does today. Infotainment is basic, CarPlay and Android Auto, nothing more. Real-world Japanese data shows Swifts routinely surpassing 400,000 km/h. The previous generation from 2010 still ranks at the top of reliability charts. While other brands chased complexity, Suzuki quietly kept building the same bulletproof formula. But here's the part that truly matters. Any mechanic can fix it. No locked ECUs, no proprietary tools, no dealership hostage situations. Just a simple, democratic machine built for real people. As one mechanic in Warsaw put it, the Swift is the car every manufacturer could build, but chooses not to. Reliable mobility shouldn't require $30,000. In third place, and this may surprise some people, is a very specific version of the Škoda Octavia. The pre-2024 facelift model with the 1.5 TSI engine and a manual transmission. Not the facelift, not the DSG, not the automatic. This exact configuration represents something rare. The last genuinely good European car before Volkswagen Group complicated everything in the name of modernization. Here's what makes it special. The 1.5 TSI with a manual gearbox dodges all of the Volkswagen Group nightmares. No DSG clutch failures, no fragile 1.2 TSI timing chains, no 2.0 TSI carbon buildup disasters. The 1.5 TSI sits in the sweet spot, strong enough, efficient enough, and simple enough to stay reliable. But the details matter. The pre-facelift model still uses real climate control knobs. The facelift replaced them with full touchscreen menus. The older model has proper buttons. The facelift uses cheap capacitive touch strips. The pre-facelift can be diagnosed with standard tools. The facelift requires VW's locked-down software. TÜV data shows the 2020-2023 Octavia 1.5 TSI manual has 47% fewer failures than the Golf using the exact same engine. Why? Škoda's Czech factory has stricter quality control and more human inspection than Wolfsburg. And the practicality is unmatched. A 640-litre boot puts many SUVs to shame, and rear legroom rivals luxury sedans. The estate is even more versatile, though slightly less reliable due to added weight. The only challenge now is finding one. Some dealers still have unsold pre-facelift 2023 stock, and those cars are absolute treasure. The last dependable European models before the touchscreen takeover. As one veteran mechanic told me, the 2020-2023 Octavia 1.5 manual is the last VW Group car I'd spend my own money on. Everything after that is touchscreen nonsense. At number 2 is a car absolutely no one expects to see on a reliability list. The Mazda MX-5 2.0 with a manual transmission. A sports car making it this far almost sounds like a mistake. Until you realize Mazda built something the performance world forgot how to make. A sports car that actually works, doesn't constantly break, and can be repaired by practically any mechanic on the planet. The naturally aspirated 2.0-litre engine is a masterpiece of restraint. No turbo to cook itself, no hybrid system waiting for a 4-figure repair, no pointless complexity, just 184 horsepower that will happily run forever. The manual gearbox, one of the finest ever engineered, direct, durable, and cheap to service. Owners routinely push MX-5s to 300,000 kilometers with nothing but scheduled maintenance. And the previous generation from 2005 still ranks among the most reliable cars ever built. Mazda didn't chase gimmicks. They perfected simplicity. While German brands pump fake engine noise through the speakers, Mazda stuck with a real engine delivering real feedback. Even the soft top is manual on base models. No motors to burn out, no sensors to fail, just a 5-second mechanism that will still work flawlessly in 20 years. Opt for the power-folding roof on higher trims and you're willingly adding complexity you don't need. Practicality? Of course it's limited, but that honesty is refreshing. It doesn't pretend to be an SUV, yet it's somehow more reliable than most German family cars. Parts are cheap, aftermarket support is huge, any garage can service it, And enthusiasts take better care of these cars than the average sedan owner ever will. Insurance is reasonable because MX-5 drivers rarely crash them. And resale values? The strongest of any sports car in its segment. As one mechanic in Rome joked, the MX-5 is more reliable than a Golf. Imagine how embarrassing that is for Volkswagen. And now, we reach the #1 new car worth buying in 2025. The only small SUV that isn't a ticking time bomb. And at #1, the most reliable new car you can buy in Europe right now, the Toyota Yaris Cross Hybrid. It's not flashy, it's not luxurious, and no one is buying it for the looks. But if your priority is a car that will never leave you stranded or drained financially, this is the closest thing to perfection on the market. It uses Toyota's proven 1.5-litre three-cylinder hybrid system, the same setup powering taxis that routinely hit 500,000 kilometers with nothing more than routine servicing. No turbochargers waiting to explode. No diesel emissions nightmares. No dual-clutch gearbox failures. Just a simple eCVT, electric motors, and an engine that barely breaks a sweat. But here's the question. Why choose the Yaris Cross instead of the regular Yaris? Or even the Corolla? Because real-world Europe is full of potholes, curbs, snow, and speed bumps. The added ground clearance prevents expensive underbody damage, a quiet but massive advantage for long-term ownership. This isn't SUV vanity. This is practical durability. Toyota's build quality speaks for itself. 3-year-old Yaris Cross models show 89% fewer issues than the segment average. A reliability gap so big it's almost comical. While your German car-driving neighbours are pouring money into repairs, you'll still be cruising with nothing but fuel receipts. Inside, everything critical still uses physical buttons. No subscription-based features, no touchscreen-controlled climate, no software locks. Buy the car once, own the car forever. A concept the industry seems to have forgotten. Toyota backs the hybrid battery for 10 years if serviced at the dealer. Even out of warranty, replacement is around $1,800, cheaper than a single Mercedes brake job. These batteries regularly last 15 years in older Toyotas. Starting at around $30,000, it may look pricey for a Yaris, but factor in real-world fuel use of 3.8 Ly100 km, near zero failure rates, and a 72% resale value after 3 years. And it becomes the most affordable car here over a decade. As a mechanic in Copenhagen said, the Yaris Cross Hybrid won't thrill you or impress your neighbours, but it will show up every day for the next 20 years. And that sums it up. And there you have it, the only 7 new cars in 2025 that are actually worth your money. Out of hundreds of models, only 7 managed to meet the absolute minimum standards of reliability and honest engineering. That's not a curated list. That's a warning siren. And just look at who's missing. Every major European nameplate. BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, Peugeot, Renault, Fiat, not a single one qualified. The continent that once defined automotive excellence has traded durability for digital gimmicks, craftsmanship for subscription revenue, and long-term trust for short-term profit. The comments weren't exaggerating. We're running out of genuinely good new cars. One viewer said, "Everything is about money now." And the sad truth is, they're right. Most manufacturers today build products designed for replacement, not longevity. These 7 cars aren't flawless. They're simply the last remaining options that prioritize function over flash. They're mostly Japanese because Japan still engineers for customers, while Europe engineers for shareholders. And if none of these 7 fit what you need, here's the brutally honest advice. Buy something 15 to 20 years old and maintain it. A well-kept 2005 model will outlast many brand new European cars today. And that's not nostalgia talking. That's data, repair logs, and real ownership stories. The industry wanted this video to validate their complexity and justify their failures. Instead, it exposed a system that's forgotten what a car is supposed to be. So tell me, which of these 7 shocked you the most? And are you done with new cars altogether? Drop your thoughts below. Your real-world stories are writing the final chapter of the honest automobile.